Humans trying to find ways to colonize Mars, but Mars is only the third closest planet from Earth. But we still bet on it. Why is that? And which is the closest of them all? Hello there, mine is here, and this episode is space-themed. Today we're going to discuss why we try to colonize Mars. But before we begin, we make videos regularly, so if you don't want to miss a thing, subscribe now to our channel on How and Why and get notified for every new upload. Now let's get into it. In order to define what is closest, we need to look on what do we mean by close. Planets are always on the move, they revolve around the Sun. Earth, for example, needs 365-ish days to do a full resolution, but no other planet needs the same time. In fact, every single planet needs different time to do a full resolution around the Sun, and resolutions are not circular, they are elliptical. This means that the distance from the revolving object to the Sun is changing. This applies to the ever-changing movement between planets as well. There are three ways to find which planet is the closest to Earth. First way is to find the smallest distance possible. The second way is to find the average distance between two planets. And the third way is to find which planet is the closest at most times. Let's take on the first one. The elliptical movement of two planets creates two distant Mars, the perihelion and the aphelion. Now those two weird words describe distance between two objects. Perihelion is the minimum distance while the aphelion is the largest. By sheer numbers, the distance from Earth to Mercury ranges from 77 million kilometers to 222 million kilometers. From Earth to Venus, it ranges from only 38 million kilometers to 261 million kilometers, while the distance from Earth to Mars ranges between 56 million kilometers to 401 million kilometers. So the closest planet is Venus, right? Yeah, at a specific time of the year, but this is not very helpful, so let's measure by average. By average, the distance from Earth all the way to Mercury is 149.5 million kilometers, as is from Earth to Venus, because Venus can get closer than Mercury but can get farther away. And the distance from Earth to Mars is 228.6 million kilometers, again by average. So the winners are Mercury and Venus. Along one tropical year, though, things change. In this graph we can see the resolutions for Mercury with grey, Venus with yellow, Earth with blue and Mars with red. Now let's elapse some days forward. So even if Venus is closer than all of them, their distance increases as days pass, eventually reaching this point of the time when Venus is as close to Earth as Mercury is. And from then on, Mercury is the closest planet to Earth because its resolution is quite fast and the aphelion is closer than Venus. Now let's take a faster version of this graph. Venus is the closest planet to Earth only at 20% of a tropical year. Mercury is the closest at 80% of the same period. Here's a nice trivia. The minimum and maximum distances from Mercury to any other planet of the solar system are so close that Mercury is the closest planet at most times throughout a tropical year, for like every other planet of the solar system. And now the following question arises. Why we try to colonize Mars instead of Mercury? Mars's perihelion is not even close to Mercury's or even Venus's. Recall the graph. Mars is never the closest throughout a year. So if we traveled from Earth to either Venus or Mercury, we would spend less time, consuming less fuel, exploiting less resources, and the cosmic radiation would be far less for future astronauts. Additionally, communication would be twice as fast than now on Mars. But we still choose the latter. Why is that? From those three planets, Mars is the less hostile to humans. The temperatures are easier to manage. The planet itself shows both geological and biological potential. In addition, the relative position of the two planets is more suitable to reach, even if Mars is not the closest. What I want to share with you today is that the closest thing is not always the easiest to reach. It may take more time, but it will be worth it. Don't do this, please. Oh. Hey,